Hello, my name is Carina, and in this podcast, Break Fear, Find Freedom, I have conversations with people just like you who have broken their fear and found their freedom, whatever that may be. And shows you how to do the same. So sit back, relax, grab your coffee or your running shoes, whatever makes you happy, and let the fun begin. Oh, by the way, come take my hand and let's go. The door's opening now.
Hello, everybody. It's that time of the week again, and we've got the most awesome Dino Miliotis with us again today. And hello, Dino. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so honored and like so excited to have you today. We've got a lady who's actually stepped up and sent me an email asking a question. Cool. And well, thank you, Jane S. So thank you, Jane S, for taking. It takes a lot of courage to do something like this. She doesn't know. We're not saying who she is, but it still takes a lot of courage, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So she is saying. So, how do you deal with overwhelm? So hello, Dino. How do you deal with overwhelm and fear? I have to find clients and sell my products, but I don't know where to start. Please help. So there's two parts of this question, actually.
Are you serious? This is so cool.
I'm
honored. I'm honored, really.
Yes. So thank you again. I hope you're listening, Jane S. But obviously we'll link you to this show. But thank you, and share this with your friends. Okay, Dino, I'm giving you the floor.
Wow. So how do you deal with being overwhelmed?
Yes.
It's the weirdest thing. It's literally like one step at a time. You know what I mean? And like we've talked about before, try and find a win in everything that you do, right? Because otherwise, look, I wrote a book. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? It's published. Now, look at me, and you kind of get overwhelmed because your mind always races ahead of reality. A lot of times, at least for me. And, you got to kind of take a step back and be like, you know what? The last time that I was famous was 25 years ago. You got to give yourself a break. You have to realize that, hey, you're reintroducing yourself into the world, and they got to get to know you. They got to get to trust you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I don't know what Jane's product line is, okay? But it really doesn't matter, what it is. Obviously, it's great to believe in your product, but more importantly, it's great to believe in yourself.
Okay,
and what I mean by that is that, no matter what you undertake, you have to believe that, you're providing a service, you're providing a product, and more than the product or service, it's really you that people are buying, isn't it?
Yes.
And that confidence that you have, try and be a friend, try and make a friend every sale that you do. Don't look at them as money. Okay. And I know it's hard not to do sometimes. I mean, believe me, me too. But try and look at it like a friend. Today, I'm going to make a friendship and see how that works out, because I really believe that the more relaxed you are, the better your approach. And the better your approach, the more people are going to like you or trust you anyway.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I like that. But I'm going to go back to believe in yourself. Now, everyone's saying that, right? And we know that that's what works for life, for everything. Right. But how do you do that?
Wow. How do you do that? You have to believe. I mean, I don't want to get all corny on you, early in the morning. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
but believing in yourself. Okay. I believe that, I was put on this earth for a reason. I mean, things don't just happen. Okay. We're here for a reason. We all have a gift. Some people, it takes a longer time to realize what gift they have, right?
Yes,
For
yes, yes.
me, for a very long time, um, I, I believed I was special. I knew I was special. I didn't know why, but I just knew it. It's just the way I interact with people, the way that they would treat me. You know, it's like, why are you treating me like royalty? Why am I privileged? You know, and I don't mean to sound, you know, standoffish, but I really felt that way. I mean, people are opening doors for me. I drop something. They're like, oh, let me get this. I'm like, well, why? What are you doing? I mean, I'm just me. You know, I didn't come from a wealthy family. I didn't come from a, you know, I wasn't educated. Everybody who knows my story knows I hated school.
Yeah.
But, and yet, you know, without a diploma, without the, you know, wealthy background and stuff like that, without the fancy cars and the fancy clothes growing up, I still felt special. You know, it's something that we all have to look deep within ourselves. And I think kind of, you know, recognize that we're here for a reason. We're here for a reason. Now, sales is a lot of times associated with kind of like a negative thing. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, what are
Yes.
you selling me now? Oh, you're selling me? Go ahead. Give me your spiel. By the way, I hate that. Okay. You know, and I mean, you know, it's something that you have to overcome. And I think where a lot of people make a mistake when they're in sales is they think about the money. They think about the money and they think about these, you know, first you make them cry and then they buy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Or, you
that's
know,
horrible. Yes.
I know. Carina, you see this blue car, right? You like the blue car. You said you like the color and you said you
Yes.
like the price. So if, you know, if I'm giving you this car, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to buy this car today? Those things are just a cheesy, dripping salespeople. You know what I mean?
Yes, and it makes you
Uh,
feel like dirty, right?
it makes me, yeah, and I'm
Yes.
doing the selling. You know, imagine the one getting sold. Like a lot of times, seriously, I mean, you know, you go into a department store and you're looking for a shirt or you're looking for some trousers, and it's like, oh, can I help you get anything today? You just automatically, you're just like, back off, man. I'm going to find whatever I want. You know, um, I'm giving sales kind of a bad rap, and I'm a born salesman. But one of the things that I did is I never looked at selling the way everybody else does. Okay. I
Okay.
looked at it as interacting. And the
Yeah.
more genuine your interaction, the better my numbers were, the better the sales were. And it's hard to believe this. It's hard to believe this, but I'm going to say it. The most successful things I've ever sold, I never thought about the money first. Never. I
Yeah.
always thought about the interaction. You know, did I make a
Mm-hmm.
friend? Did I touch them? Did I answer their question? You know, was I real? You know,
Yes. Yes.
it's not fake. You know, it's not an act. I know a lot of people, they're just like, oh, well, he's just acting. No, it's not an act at all. It's just, you know, I could sell something and I can hate what I'm selling. You know, I don't recommend doing that. But the point is the reason I was always successful in sales is because I never thought of it as selling. I thought of it as interacting and doing a service. I'm providing a service to you. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if
Yes.
there's value in that service, if it touches you, if it makes you feel, even for a split second, I've done my job. Okay. So I deserve whatever commission is coming my way. I'm not going to be ashamed of, you know, getting commission. You ever hear these people that say, well, I'm not making commission off of you, believe me. You know, come on.
Yes.
Of course you are. But say it. You don't know how many people I've said, you know, look, you're kind of a pain in the rear end, and
Yeah.
with all the stuff that all the problems you're causing me, and all these questions, morning, noon,
Yes.
and night. I go, I make like $100 a month on you. That's not enough.
For all this.
Yeah, but the funny thing is after I would say that, and I was serious, I'm like, you know what? Maybe you need to find somebody else to service you. They would turn around and be like, no, wait, I'm sorry. No, I want to stay with you. I'm like, what? So it's conviction. Okay. So I would say to the question as far as being overwhelmed and you got a product line and you're trying to sell it. Okay. And keep in mind, we don't know the product line.
Yeah,
We don't know how long she's been doing it. We don't know if it's her company or she's working for somebody. It doesn't matter at this point. Although it'd be a great thing to kind of interact and find out. But, I would say that no matter what you're selling, if there's a product line, you're selling 100 different things or one thing. Forget the products. Let's talk about you. Why are you valuable? What makes this interaction important? What do you have to say that's important and genuine? Okay.
Yes.
And then you'll be able to sell it. Because you're not really selling when you're real, right?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I love that. So there's that human connection. So it's like a conversation. And I think people just fall in love with you. I think that's what you're saying. They fall in love with you and then they obviously want all your products. So, well, that's the idea. And I think, well, you a testament to that, right? Because that's the way you operate. Okay. Now, what she's also saying is, so now she has to find clients, right? So that's probably a big thing. Like, I have to find clients. Where am I going to find clients? Oh my word, I'm going to have to find clients. And then I'm going to have to put myself in front of these clients. And again, we go back to the connection with people. So how would you recommend she goes about finding clients? I mean, I know that's a huge question and it's got so many possibilities, but just like off the cuff, really. And it's difficult as well because we don't know what she's selling. So let's say she's selling, I don't know, soaps. Or maybe, no, let's rather say like she's selling coaching, because coaching is something that's quite a big thing now, coaching and consulting. She's selling coaching and consulting. Let's make it that way. And then we'll ask her, hopefully she'll come back and we can speak to her. But if she was selling coaching and consulting, how would she find clients?
This is great. I mean, let's even pretend it's soaps.
Okay, let's go to the soaps.
It doesn't matter. Look, here's the thing. Everything that I've done, I had these very successful companies, and then, I was always thinking of, oh, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it. And I never sold any of my companies because I couldn't. And here's the reason why, is because I was the company. Yes. Without me, the company is nothing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I did consulting. I had over 100,000 clients. Okay. And this was in the payroll business. It's $1 billion company. I mean, it's churning $1 billion a year.
Wow.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
And I'm like, oh, you know what? This is going to be great. I could structure it for sale and I could sell it. Nobody wants to buy a company without the guy. Yes. Because all these 100,000 plus clients, they're not going to stick around if I'm not around. And that was a big slap in my face, because I was thinking like a business. Hey, you open up a business, you create a stock, you offer, a trade, and you sell the company, and you walk off in the sunset and you're just fine. And, oh, look at me, look what happened. Yes. I could never do that, because what I did is everything I've done was me.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So, so really good question about how do I promote it, right? I think that's what you're asking.
Yes. She's saying, how do I get clients interested in what I'm selling?
Okay.
I think that's what she's saying.
And this is the cheesiest thing, but for me, I hated hearing, well, you gotta spend money to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I created a bug band, insect repelling wristband, it cost me $25 to open up that business. It became a multi-million-dollar business in less than 18 months. And the $25 was just to pay for the FedEx envelope for samples. True story. Okay. I never believed in that, like, oh, okay, you got to spend money and, get commercials and, you got to flood the airwaves with commercials. That works. Don't get me wrong. It works.
Yes.
But, I didn't have that money, to be honest with you. So I didn't have that luxury. What I always did is, because I was making friends and I made a connection with my client, I didn't find it at all shameful or embarrassing to say, hey, look, I'm starting out and I would appreciate it if you would let other people know. I mean, if you like what I'm doing, let other people know, because I would appreciate the business and I'm new. I know that sounds kind of like, oh my God, I would never do that, because then they know how small I am. But that's the truth. You have to
start somewhere, right?
Yeah, but that's the truth. I mean, you can either, lie to people and mislead them and say, well, you know what, my combined experience is over 30 years in doing it. Or you could just say, hey, you know what, I've done a lot of stuff and I know I'm helping people consulting. And if you liked what you heard today, please refer a friend. That's what keeps me in business. I'm starting this company. I want to grow. With your help, I can make it grow. And that's always worked for me. Grassroots movement is the most powerful movement in the world. And here are people that want to help you for no reason. No money. You're not promising them the sun, the moon. You're not telling them, oh, you're going to have a share in my company, or, hey, I'll take care of you later.
Yes.
They're just doing it because they love what you have to offer, And, I had 2,000 housewives. I don't even know if I could say that anymore in today's world. But I had, when I'm selling the Bug Ban product, everybody's like, did you go to retail first? And what? No, I didn't. You know what started it? It was 2,000 housewives that connected with me, reached out to me, and they're like, you know what, I loved you. I read your article in People Magazine, or I saw you on TV, whatever. And, I have some time on my hands and I really think that this could be fun. And how can I sell for you? I'm like, okay, well, you got to buy a case, and then you should go out to your friends, and you should go out to your schools, or you should go out to your community, or, you sponsor, a baseball game or whatever, next thing you know, these 2,000 housewives are buying a case each. Oh, I mean, I'm selling 400,000 a week.
Wow.
A week.
It's
just
brilliant.
From them.
Yes.
Just from them. Yes. In my payroll consulting, same thing. I had my first client was a roofer. Okay. And I went and visited this roofer, and he was like, oh, how much can you save me? How much can you save me? I got a guy who he could say, I mean, this was a big company. And he's like, I got a guy who says he could save me $2 million a year. And that's really significant. And I looked at him, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to save you 2 million. I'm sorry. I go, the best I could do is about 700,000. He's like, what? Well, why are we still talking? I'm like, because you know what? I'm not going to give you the cheapest price. You're a roofer. There's risk. People, fall off of a roof.
Of course.
There's accidents. There's things like that. And I'm not going to give you a $2 million discount just so next year I can raise it. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at 3 years, safety. Okay.
Yes.
And if you're safe this year, I'll save you 700,000. You're safe the next year, it'll turn into $1 million. You safe the third year, maybe it'll be 2 million. You want to go with the other guy? Fine. You want to go with me? I'm not going to tell you a bunch of, fancy talk and stuff like that. I don't care if you're my client or not, but I'm going to give you a real number that doesn't change, that is what it is, and I'm going to watch out for you. But it's a two-way street. You have to practice safety. I'm not going to sit there and worry about your company more than you. Okay. And the guy was just like, the guy was like, nobody's ever talked to me like that before. I'm like, well, there you go. There's your first, I got this client.
Yeah.
And because I got this client, I was able to call him and say, hey, how you doing? Obviously we became friends. But he would say, hey, I got another friend of mine. He's asking, where do I get my payroll services and my HR and stuff like that? Do you have a minute and give him a call? I'm like, sure. So it started spreading like that.
Yes.
I never advertised. I've never had a business card ever. Because like I think I told you before, I mean, people knew who I was. If you're in that business, they knew me. They're like, oh, is that guy? I don't know his last name, but Dino. And that's how it started. So I would say that don't be afraid to ask things. You'll be surprised the reaction you get. If you're brave enough to just say, look, we're all in this for different reasons, but if I open up a business, it's usually not for free. I mean, obviously you want to make money.
Exactly,
you want to be compensated.
Exactly.
You want to be compensated. Why is it so shameful to express that to somebody? Hey, I make money, but I'm providing good service.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I want to stay in business. Can you help me out? Do word of mouth spreads faster than any ad or TV commercial ever.
Yes, yeah, that we know. That's very good. So if you can get into that, a lot of people are afraid to actually ask, and that builds down a lot to the way they've been brought up and all that, which is another story for another day.
Yeah.
So how do they get over that? So a lot of people think it's shameful to ask. Like, you don't ask people for things. You wait for people to come to you, and if you wait for people to come to you, well, you're going to get really old and gray and be living in the streets because you won't make any money, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, there's never a perfect time to ask an embarrassing question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just have to do it. You just have to do it. I was raised the same way. I mean, my father, Greek school teacher, great reputation. He's got his teaching degrees, very proud and stoic, and everything,
Yes.
Everything's proper. And that stuff works, but my God, it never really worked for me. And it was just like one of those things where I was never afraid to stop somebody and say, hey, let me ask you a question, and just, it's amazing. It's amazing that if you ask, you'll receive. If you don't ask, you're just always going to wonder, what if I did this, and nobody's going to volunteer and say, hey, you were really good. Let me give you a referral. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But if you ask them, hey, look, I'm new at this. I really enjoyed working with you. And I hope I serviced you properly, but I'm just starting out. Do you know anybody that could benefit, if maybe I gave them a call? Sure. They'll pull out their Rolodex. They'll be like, oh, here's this person, here's this person. And next thing you know, you got one client and then 3 clients and then 6, and it just multiplies.
Yes.
It just multiplies. I wish I knew what she was selling. It doesn't really matter, but I'm curious. You know what I mean?
We'll have to ask her.
I know it's not soap. Is it soap? Come
no,
on.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. It could be. Right. There's a lot of people who sell soap, but I know that there's a lot of people selling coaching and consulting, maybe because that's one of my fields, right? That I sell coaching, so it could have been there too. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask her. So
all right, it's killing me.
If we could,
I want to know.
So maybe we'll see. So Jane, if you're listening, we would love to have you on our show. How about that? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
So now I'm thinking, as you're talking, let's put a challenge out there for the week, right? So if anybody's out there and is struggling to get clients, let's just go and approach someone and say, or one of your clients already, or just approach someone, or approach your friend and say, hey, this is what's happening. Exactly what Dino said, and let's see how many clients you get. So that's a challenge for the week. And I'd love you to comment, right? So we can see how this really works. And I'm sure it does. What do you think?
I'm almost at the point now that I'm older and, whatever, I'll embarrass myself every day, but I'm almost to the point where it's like, if I found out what you're selling and what you're doing, I mean, I'd almost do a show and tell for you. My cousin, here's a really good one. My cousin, he's, selling, outdoor improvements, patios and stuff like that. And he called me yesterday and he's like, hey, how you doing? Why don't you come out and, and see us, and I could show you the business or whatever. And I told him, I'm like, you do understand that if I go and I see your business, I'm going to want to sell whatever it is you're selling. And you do understand that I'm just going to like smoke you, I'm going to blow you out of the water. He's like, oh, I can't wait. He wants a challenge, but for me, it's also a challenge. It's like, does the kid still have it? Yeah, I think so. It's just, it's fun. It's healthy competition. It's not psychotic competition, but it's healthy to always try and push yourself and see if you still have it. As much as this world has changed, people are really the same. People want to feel good that they've made a decision. People want to feel good that they buy things. People buy. If they're not going to buy from you, they're going to buy from somebody else. I promise you. So you're not like doing something bad, selling somebody. If it's not you, it's somebody else. Trust me. So you have to make sure that, it's something that is real that you're selling, either a product or a service. It doesn't have to be the best, but always be consistent in your message. Always be consistent and be honest, be real with people. And you know what? If I sold you a soap, Carina, for $10 and I made $2 commission, I'd tell you. I would. What difference does it make to you?
Well, it doesn't. For me, if I buy the soap and it's really great, it makes my skin soft and it lathers nicely and it smells really good and it makes me feel wonderful because it's got essential oils or whatever it is, I'll come back and say, hey, Dino, that soap was really cool. Please, can I have some more?
Or what else do you have?
Or what else do you have? Yes. Yeah. Or what else do you have? Because that's really great. Do you have lotion or whatever else you have? Or do you have, I don't know, whatever you can have. I can't think of anything off the top of my head now.
I know it's hard. It's hard to be.
So yes, that's what I think, but it's also the connection. So if you just sold me a soap, like randomly, I might buy it because like if someone's selling soaps for a good cause or whatever, you'll buy it, right? So if someone's selling soaps to raise money for, I don't know, the homeless or whatever. So I'd buy the soap because it's a good cause. But I don't know if I'd go back. But if I connect with that person, so if that person says, hey, you know what, there's a soap, this is what it does, and that's great. But if I need to connect with that person, I need to say, you know what, I really like Dino. I like his soap. I'm going to do business with him. I'm going to do some more business with him. So I think it's exactly what you were saying.
Yeah. And you know what, today we're, a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to sell a soap. I have a soap company. I'm just going to put it on the internet and I'm going to put it in, a few key places and I'm just going to wait for the orders. That works. I don't know enough about this new world. That works, but there's no person. You know what I mean? There might be like this virtual thing that pops up. Hi, I noticed that you're, can I help you? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to somebody real,
Yes.
And it's harder to do in a digital world like today, but you could still do it. I mean, this is the closest to face that we have right now, Carina.
Yes.
Is me and you talking. And still, I get a charge out of this. If we were face to face together, I promise you it'd be like a whole different level.
Yes, of course it would be.
There's just something that's
Yes.
missing with face to face these days. And I think before you get all caught up and buried in your computer and your emojis and your desensitized world, just remember that people buy, mostly it's an emotional buy. It's an emotional buy. It's not dollars and cents clear cut thing. My roofer proves it. I mean, if it was a clear cut dollars and cents thing, $2 million saved is a lot more
of course,
than 700,000. Why did he go with me?
Yes.
Why did he go with me?
It's a connection again. You have to connect on some level, right?
Yeah.
And it's also, I think it's a transparency. I think people want transparency. They're so tired of people sitting back behind computers and hiding. I think, it's they want transparency to say, this is who I am. Okay, I am behind a computer, but this is who I am. Let's connect and let's be real with each other, like you say,
right,
and take it from there and connect with me and see who I am, right?
I will tell you that this Zoom stuff is new for me. I mean, I never had this. It was either you saw me in a meeting or you heard me over the phone.
Yes.
I was never on a computer. Hey, let's Zoom, let's Skype. But, I never did that. I don't know how to do it. But throughout my entire career, I lived on my phone. I mean, that's for sure. But I always wanted to make sure that I contacted the owner. So even if you close your eyes and just visualize just a phone call, I was still able to connect on an emotional level through the phone.
Yes.
Through the phone. They didn't even have to see me. So don't believe all the hype where, first you got to have a great product, then you have to have a great message, then you have to look good and you got to make yourself visible. That stuff works. I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but I didn't have that stuff. And it still worked out just fine. So why did it work out just fine?
Okay, so I want to just go back. You mentioned about closing your eyes when you were on the phone. What did you do at that point? So did you visualize the person? Because I do NLP and all these things, right? And you can take this all to another level as well, which is another conversation. But when you were on the phone and you were visualizing or watching or listening or closing your eyes, what did you do? What did you see? Did you see them in front of you? Did you hear them speaking to you and telling you that they would take the order? What was your game plan at that point? What did you do?
Wow, what a good question. I never thought about who the person is. I mean, in fact, all my clients in my head before I met them, they all looked the same. I mean, I think they were like me, I'm talking to myself. But I could feel their words. Okay. You're talking to a guy that you're not going to believe this, but I could smell colors. I'm like, it smells purple.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't know why I do that, but I could smell colors and I could feel numbers. So, yeah, it's just fascinating. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should be analyzed one day.
That's brilliant. Okay.
When I'm talking to somebody over the phone, I didn't really care about imagining what they looked like. I mean, sooner or later I'd meet them.
Yes, of course.
But it was listening to what they were saying and how they were saying it. There's inflections, there's pauses, there's deep breaths, there's gaps, there's all kinds of things that you just pick up on. And again, I'm not selling him like being cheesy, let's get that stereotype done. You could be proud of being a salesman. You don't have to be like, oh, well, I sell for a living. So what?
Yes.
Everybody sells. But how you sell? Are you really listening to what they're saying? Or are you just letting them finish a sentence so that you can interrupt and go through your little pitch? That was never me. I wanted to feel what they were feeling. I wanted to understand what they were trying to say. And then I'd come back with just, genuine concern and just kind of like my take on coming up with a solution.
Yes.
That always worked. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing, emotion. Very, very
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
And a lot of people discount that. They just think like, okay, if I'm a book salesman, and actually I am, but this is not my book. But if I was a book salesman and this was a $5 book, I wouldn't sell it like, hey, this is a $5 book and you may have seen it on the shelf. It's one of the best sellers. And if you buy this, the next month you may get an offer for another book. That wasn't me, but it's the pages, what it said. You know what I mean? It's the story. I think this would be a perfect book for you because you told me that you like this and this and this. And you know what? This book, I think you're going to love. I think you'll finish it in a day. You know what I mean? It's a completely different sale.
Yes.
And price doesn't matter if you really hit the emotion. Price never matters. I never did price wars with people. I had competitors all my career, no matter what I did, but I never focused on, well, they're $1, so maybe I should be 75 cents. Actually, I'd be $1.50. Why? Because I'm doing something that nobody else is doing. I'm interacting and connecting with people on an emotional, spiritual level. It doesn't matter what I'm selling. They're buying me.
Yes, that's true. And so, but a lot of people also think that if it's priced more, then it obviously has more value as well.
Sometimes,
so that's also, yes, that's also some kind of, it's also, well, there's been research on that kind of thing as well. So maybe I don't know if you've heard about the story of I don't know where, I can't tell you where I heard the story or where I read it. But apparently there was a lady who had a gem shop. She was selling crystals and things. And she had these beautiful crystals that she had bought and she had found in Malaysia, wherever she had sourced them. And she just wanted to sell these crystals because she had kept them month after month after month and nobody would buy them. So she put them in front of the shop and she did all the things she was supposed to do, put them in front and displayed them, and no one was taking notice. So she was leaving for the weekend and she told her assistant who was watching the shop for her over the weekend, she said, you know what? She left her a written message saying, please halve these gemstones, put it on half price so we can just get rid of them. I'm tired. I want to replace them. And she went off. On the Monday, she came back and they were all gone. So she was so excited. She says, wow, so it worked. She said, you halved the prices. She says, no, that's not what you said. I doubled the prices. And I sold them all. So she doubled the prices. People saw them more as more valuable, and she sold them all.
That's awesome.
So that's a very cool story. And that's probably what you were saying as well. But you made that connection. It's a bit different, but that's the kind of story I was saying. But now just another question. You're the center of your universe, of your business. How do you clone yourself? And how do you get out to be in the center? So would you train people to become like, would you have a whole lot of Dinos in your business so that you can actually take a step back and start another business or write another book?
Write another book, to be continued. But, that's a really, really good question. And I'd love to have one of these answers where, I open up a training center. I just find people that want the same things and I train them and blah, da, 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 da. Next thing you know, you get 1,000 Dinos. I never had that happen, although I tried. I've tried my entire career to clone myself. And I'm not like full of hot air and, blowing smoke or anything like that. But honestly, you would love to have something keep running, right?
Yes.
With or without you, because it frees up your time. You could do other things.
Yes.
But the way I always structured a business was basically like I was the show. To this day, actually, I'm starting now to do consulting, and I'm training people that will become a Dino. But but prior to that, I've never had that happen. I mean, they always kind of, what happens is they start, the rising stars, right? And they start, going up the ladder and everything like that. And then for some reason, I don't know, it's me. I have this overpowering, overburdening kind of effect on people where it's just like, oh, well, look, here, let me finish this for you. So they stop going up the ladder because they're like, you know what, he's going to take care of everything anyway.
Yes.
And so what you have is, what I had is a bunch of spoiled brats, for lack of a better word, where they, making a ton of money. They're doing good work, they're doing quality work, but just short of that touchdown. If we're talking football, because they knew that I would always do it. And so what happens is, you have this huge infrastructure that you are doing all of it. You don't even realize it, but you're doing it so fast and so efficiently that it doesn't really feel like work. And everybody in my family, my wife would say all the time, you're doing everything. You have all these people, you're paying them. Why don't you let them finish? I'm just like,
yes,
well, because it'll never get done. So I had to work on that one. And it's really cool that you brought that up, because, a lot of times people are just like, oh, okay, you got a multi-million-dollar business, you got a billion-dollar business, of course you have infrastructure. In my case, not really. I mean, it was always me. And I had to come to terms with letting go, so to speak, letting go. And maybe a rising star will pass me. Ooh, shocking. Somebody's better than you. But that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
Yes.
And so the way I'm training people now and consulting now is with that let go in mind. I can't do everything. Okay?
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that bring talent that's just as good, or if not better. And the way to let them shine is you have to give them the direction. They can observe, they can, whatever. And at some point you got to let go, and you got to trust that what you've done is good enough to be the seeds or the foundation for somebody else's future. So that one I'm learning, and I'm glad you brought it up. I'm not embarrassed to say that, but it took me 56 years to realize that I got to let go and let other people shine.
So how are you doing with that now? Because that's quite a difficult thing to let go. With anything, like people have tough problems, letting go of the past, or letting go of a bad relationship, or letting go of a bad client, or a boyfriend that beats them. I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but it's very similar. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How do you deal with it, letting go?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy. Let's talk about the toxic relationships that you were talking about. And I've had them too. I was either the toxic guy or they were, and I didn't realize it. But what I noticed is familiarity. Okay. A lot of times, even, weighing out all the negatives. I mean, basically, look, if I stay in this relationship, it's going to be a complete disaster. It's going to be a train wreck. It has been every single time.
Yes.
But why are you there? It's this familiar feeling. Well, they know me better than anybody else. We shared a lot of things together. There were some good times, and and all those are real, right? But you'll trick yourself into staying, hoping that something's going to happen that's not going to happen. I went through this with my ex-wife, and loved her to death, but it's just, she came with all these toxic problems that just were new to me. You know what I mean? And it just, you have to let go. That's the toxic personal relationship. Let's talk about the business stuff.
Yes.
Letting go, has it been easy? Hell no. It hasn't, because I know what I can do. I know what I have done. and people don't realize it. It's just like, there was this one company, this one business I had. I bought a building. I had like 300 people working in the building. And I remember when I just opened up the building and I had all these people working in there, I'd go up to the third floor and people are just all winded. They're like, oh my God, I got so much work to do. And I said, do you understand that about 2 years ago, I did all of this? I did everything.
Yes.
Everybody in this building, I did all their work. Oh, how? That's impossible. So I was like really stuck on myself. But the letting go thing is you have to trust that if you're as good as you say you are, then you should be not cloning people, but mentoring people, and giving such a good effect on them. If I'm such a good salesman, right, and I touch on emotional levels, like I was telling you,
yes.
I should be able to do that with people that I mentor.
Yes.
Touch them
yes.
on an emotional level. If I'm that good, then what am I afraid of? Let go. And you may be surprised what you find. I may be creating geniuses, right?
Yes.
But I stop them myself because it's just like, well, I could do better than you. No, I'm starting to find out now in my training that these guys are doing circles around me.
Yes.
They're younger. That has something to do with it, but your mind doesn't age. I mean, I don't look at it that way, but a lot of things that they're bringing to the table kind of shock me. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. You know what I mean? So for me, letting go is a new thing, but it's important. It's the next stage of what I'm supposed to do. Because otherwise, you're like the rich old man that, goes to the grave and buries their money.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And then who eats it? It's all the worms and the rats eat the money, because you can't take it with you, really.
No, a lot of people try. But
yes.
you don't want to leave it for your kids either. I disagree with, well, I'm doing this for, growing up in a traditional Greek family, all my life, my grandparents, even my parents, oh, when I die, this is yours, and I remember my wife saying, why do you guys always talk about death? I'm like, it's not like that. It's, we live for leaving a better life for our children.
Yes.
That's how we talk.
Yes.
She didn't see it that way, but here's the thing. I'm going to break the tradition with the Greeks. Okay. And where people are like, you're going to leave your legacy for your kids. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, because unless you've earned the money yourself, unless you know how to make it yourself, and which is a self-sustaining thing, me giving you money is meaningless. It's the reason that people win the lottery, and I think 99% of them either go broke or they commit suicide.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yes.
Because they don't know how to handle the money.
Yes.
They don't know what to do with it. And then everybody comes out of the woodwork and they're like, oh, remember me? I'm your second niece from, whatever. And, oh, we need a house. And, oh, yeah, we need a car. And all you're doing is just, here you go. Here. But they didn't earn it. So,
yes.
What I tell my salespeople, what I tell my children is find something that you want to try doing. Be passionate about it and do the best you can. And if that's being a janitor, then be a janitor. Be the best one you can be.
Yes.
If it's an astrophysicist, be the best one you could be. But try 100%. And if it doesn't work out for you, at least you try. But what's going to happen is that work ethic, you're going to be able to earn your own money. You're going to be able to be proud of your own money. You'll blow your first million if you're like me. I always have. Yes. Always on stupid things. They're like, well, but you had the money, you blew it. Yeah, wouldn't you? But I know how to make more. See, that's the gift.
The thing. That's the
gift. I know how to make more. I can be like, you could parachute me in just some foreign land and I could just fall out of the sky with just my clothes on my back and a phone and a cell phone. I'll make money, trust me,
Yes.
because I
yes.
know how. Okay. And that's something like if you give somebody the money or you pull them along, help them be successful, you always correct their mistakes, they'll never learn to be successful on their own. And I get like that brings us back to the question where, how am I handling this letting go? Not well, but I'm doing better every day.
Yes. Yes. It's a process.
It is a process.
Yes, yes. I love that. And I agree with you. Once you start doing things, because a lot of people, they've got all this money and they're depressed. They're depressed because they don't have any meaning in life. They've got everything in their lives, the clothes, the cars. I mean, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you start with something and you take a little bit of action, like writing or whatever it is, just take a little bit of action every day, and you'll see that after a year, I mean, look at this podcast, for example, things start opening up. As you see, you carry on with the podcast or whatever it is. I'm just using this as an example. Then the opportunities start coming out and you start learning and growing along the way, and you see what works and what doesn't. It's very exciting, actually.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
Taking the courage or just taking that step, closing your eyes, just taking that step and just doing something.
And just trying. I mean, some of the best times in my life were when I was broke.
Yes.
Believe it or not, because, you take the money out of it and it's just like, we always found a way. And we would entertain ourselves, renting a movie was a big deal. And, we'd all sit around and, watch a new movie or, going out to a dinner was a big deal or, whatever it was. And I'm not saying, having money was always bad either, but it got to the point where we would go to the most exclusive, shops. And there was a time where literally we bought everything in that store. There was nothing new to buy. So it was just such a hollow feeling.
Yes.
It's like we're shopping just to shop because that's what people do. Because if we didn't shop, we'd probably be drinking or arguing or, whatever. So money isn't the answer either. We've talked about this before. It's purpose. And so I do want to say this one thing to the soap lady or consulting lady or what. I'm not sure what
Jane.
Yes, thank you. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, just don't think like, okay, you have one career. So, you have a lot of people that are just like, okay, so what are you doing? Well, I'm a consultant. 3 years from now, if somebody asks, what am I doing? I'm probably not going to say I'm a consultant. I'm reinventing myself based on my passion and what I feel fulfills me. Okay. Which is important. So don't be afraid to pick something that may not be forever. It's something in your life that will teach you an experience. You'll get something out of it. Like remember everything you do. Remember even your failures as well as your success stories. Okay. But you'll get something out of it. So I'm not so caught up in saying, hi, Carina, I'm a consultant. Nice to meet you. And then being afraid like 3 years from now, hey, I'm not a consultant anymore. I sell books. I don't care. Do you care?
No.
I'm still the same person.
No, of course.
But it's what it's what fulfills me. Writing a book for me was very fulfilling, but more so getting the questions and the reaction from readers is even just an incredible feeling for me, and where this leads, I don't know, but I have, I don't have blinders on anymore. I'm going with, it's evolving, it's people are asking me, hey, have you ever thought of doing this? Or have you ever thought of doing that? I'm open to anything, but it's got to satisfy one of the basic requirements on everything that I've ever done is you go in it with passion. or don't do it at all.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Actually, that's maybe a good place to end this conversation. Go in with passion or nothing at all. So before we go, what last minute advice would you give Jane besides saying, hey, show your face so we can actually do a consulting call with 3 of us? What else would you tell her?
I would love that. So to Jane is, don't put huge expectations on you. Take all the stuff that's just weighing down your mind, just throw it all out. It'll still be there. If you want to pick it up, you can pick it up tomorrow. But just for one day, give yourself some breathing room to say, forget the hurdles, forget the sales quotas, forget the need for money. All those things, I promise, will still be around.
Yes.
You can worry about them tomorrow.
Yes.
Get rid of them. Now let's focus on what you have, okay? And who you could present it to. And so, try it out on 1 or 2 people. Try it out even with familiars like your family or relatives. Yeah, that's favoritism, but at the same time, you're going to be able to just get all the bugs out. You're going to start finding your rhythm, find your comfort zone. And just remember, what you have in your hand isn't as special as the person holding it. Okay.
I love that.
You're special. Okay. And once you tap into that, you're off to the races.
Well, that's really, really awesome. Thank you for that. There was something. Okay, well, let's leave it at that. You did say something, but it's just flown my head. Okay, well, I love that. I think that's even better to end with. So remember, you're special, and it's about you. The product is just an extension of you. So remember that. And then we'll go back to the challenge. Just go out and contact one person a day and see what happens. Even if it is your family and friends, it doesn't matter. And then we'll revisit this next week for a bit. And come on, just comment and tell us what's happening and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dino.
Thank you.
This has been awesome again, as usual. Thank you, Jane.
This is an honor. I love this. I love this. Keep the questions coming in. I love this stuff. I really, really do.
Yes, it's beautiful. And it's so beautiful to just see it happening and unfolding. That's even more exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Dino. And thank you, Jane, for having the courage to ask this question. And remember the challenge, and let's have fun with this. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next week.
Thank
you, Dino.
Bye-bye.
Have an awesome week. Bye, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening. And thank you for listening right to the end. Now, if you want to know more about breaking fear and if it's keeping you stuck, check out the quiz. The details are below. Subscribe so you can hear some more of this delicious conversations. And then watch out for my book, The Clank of Chains, which is coming out very soon. Thank you again for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye.